Hello everyone, and welcome to Season 6, Episode 20 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host, Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches of 2021 with match number 31 on our list, which is the RIOT title match between the champion Arez and the challenger Hijo Del Vikingo from the RIOT Lucha Libre Covidiotas event held on March the 21st of 2021. So I've talked a little bit about Lucha Libre on this program before and the various styles that you get in Lucha matches. You can get, your crazy blood-filled, mask-ripping violence. You can get your incredible, athletic, high-flying dives aplenty Lucha-style matches, or you can get, your Lucha Maestros matches with all of the great, intricate mat work. Both of these guys, Hijo Del Vikingo and Arez, are two of the most innovative wrestlers I have ever seen. They both get a lot of buzz. Vikingo especially is the current AAA Mega Champion. So he's a main eventer for them. Building possibly to an eventual showdown with former champion Kenny Omega, who had to vacate the title. That's a match that I think everybody wants to see. At the time of me recording this video, it's something that when Kenny's back from injury, I hope we eventually get. Arez, though, doesn't really get that notoriety that Vikingo gets. He is, a lower Carter in AAA. He's part of the Los Vipers group. He certainly makes the rounds on the U.S. independents. He really started to make a name for himself, in 2021. He's, already appeared on a match in MLW on this countdown with his rival Aramis. So they kind of, started to make the rounds, and GCW really started to highlight the Lucha Libre style in 2021. Both of these wrestlers, though, every time I see either of them, I see something new. And to me, that is one of the coolest qualities that a wrestler can have. I think back to watching Rey Mysterio in 1995, 1996, 1997, in that early WCW run he had, and, the ECW run that I would see, years later on tape. But every match that he would do, he'd bust out a new type of Rana or a new dive or something that I'd never seen before. And he would constantly blow my mind. That's why he's my favorite wrestler of all time. He's the greatest professional wrestler of all time, in my opinion. It would be many years before I would see a wrestler like that again. And Rey Fenix was kind of the next one that threw Lucha Underground. He would throw these little twists into every match that he would do, and I would see something a little bit different. And he continues to do that. And now we have, guys like these two that are the next evolution of that, doing crazier things than, anybody could ever imagine, back in 1996, watching Rey Mysterio. Now we take those maneuvers and we basically put them on hallucinogenics and just make them completely crazy. And that's what these two bring to the table. RIOT Lucha Libre is basically like an indie fed in Mexico. There's so many Lucha indie feds, it's not just CMLL and AAA. And RIOT is awesome. They got derailed a little bit by the pandemic. And this was kind of their, return to doing live shows. With the greatly titled, and I'm going to butcher, my Spanish pronunciation of it, but Covidiotas event, which I think is hilarious. Basically, they run in this, windowless warehouse. It's, not got the greatest feel, but it's got this kind of, grimy indie vibe to it that I like. So the interesting thing here is that, in AAA, Vikingo, like I said, main eventer, Arez, not so much. In RIOT, though, Arez is the top dog. He's the champion. So, they bring in an outside talent like Vikingo. But, it's Arez that the crowd is behind. It's Arez that they want to see win. It's, Arez that ultimately pulls out the Duke. So it's kind of nice to see, that in the major league, Lucha promotion, to the indie promotion, we get this small twist, and it's really the indie guys that are, I'll say the more local heroes, in their own promotion, and it's really cool. This match is incredible. It runs the gamut of Lucha. It starts out with this just tremendous, mat work sequences. We start with a handshake. They establish that this is going to be a respectful, clean match. And the sequences they do are just absolutely amazing. They're so intricate. Arez is, the king of strange style is his tagline. So he does all of these, weaves in through the ropes with all of these crazy holds, just tying guys up in knots. But Vikingo is no slouch himself. He hangs in there, and they trade these excellent holds and these moves back and forth, and they trade roll-ups, and we get, all of these dive fakes that are great, really building up to this match, eventually escalating and getting out of control as it does. And it's Vikingo, no surprise, that turns that up a notch. He hits this Hurricane Rana in this match, and I'll say he doesn't hit it completely clean, but I'm someone that I always, appreciate, innovation and guys trying different things, and they don't always work out perfectly, but you have to take these risks and you have to workshop these moves until they eventually do work out, perfectly. And he hits this Rana where he springboards in from the ring apron and basically ends up on the opposite side of the middle rope. So Andrew Everett used to do this. He'd kind of like jump up and do the splits like over the ropes, land on that middle rope, and do it into a shooting star press that was incredible. So Vikingo adapts that, but then turns it into like up onto Arez's shoulders into like a turnaround Hurricane Rana. Like I said, it's not completely clean, but it's wild and it's super, super cool. And he follows that up with a big Fosbury flop, goes for the 450 splash, misses but sees it coming and rolls through. And then Arez at this point, has to play that desperate game and escalate it himself and hits this big lariat that sends Vikingo head over heels into a flip bump. And, from here, it's on. We've gotten our dives. Arez has hit the first big strike. These guys are going to go full tilt for the rest of this match, and that's exactly what they do. And it's actually Arez who kind of has to bait Vikingo out to the floor a little bit. He kind of slaps him through the ropes disrespectfully, right? He is a heel in AAA again, more of a face, in his home environment in RIOT. But he hits the slap and it baits Vikingo out to the floor. And they end up doing this like crazy like parkour sequence where they're running and flipping all over the place, and they end up onto the ramp. So RIOT has like a big stage area that kind of connects to the ring, and they end up on there, and Arez cuts Vikingo off with a drop kick, hits a snap suplex onto the stage. And they go, and he just dominates with strikes. He's bigger, he's more powerful, he's a harder hitter, and Vikingo kind of has to fight from underneath, with some strikes of himself. But then Arez hits this just insanely incredible, cool, swank move that I've never seen before, where he hits a spinning heel kick, but after he hits this spin kick, he like uses his leg to like lift Vikingo up into a Liger bomb. I don't know how to describe it. It is amazing. Arez is a genius when it comes to professional wrestling moves. It's so cool. It only gets him a 2, of course. And Vikingo, he's not going to be outdone. So he hits this just wild, like sideways spinning Hurricane Rana thing off the top rope. And it just when you are trying to get your breath back from the incredible moves that you are seeing that you've never seen before, Arez bails out to the ramp, and he's lying on the ramp, and Vikingo proceeds to hit an inside 1 foot middle rope springboard. So, I always call it Air Jordan, right? ACH would do that Air Jordan dive. Grand Metalik, Mascara Dorada, whatever you want to call him, was the first that I ever saw, do that dive. But ACH, he really started to do it in the US Indies. But Vikingo hits this lift off, this Air Jordan, but hits it into a 450 splash to Arez, who's lying on the ramp. It is mental. The craziest thing about it is that at the time of me recording this video, Vikingo has since topped that move by doing it into a 630. The man is a madman, but it's so great. And watching this match, when it aired, just completely blew my mind. And now he's doing even crazier things because, like I said, that's what he does. He's constantly giving you something more and new. One of Vikingo's signature moves is like the double knees in the corner, right? That we see like Rush and Andrade and a lot of guys do. So he hits that actually against the ropes, and it sends them both flying out to the floor, which was brutal and cool. We get a battle on the apron. Vikingo teases a German suplex. Arez blocks it, and then Vikingo kind of like slides in on the apron on his knees, and while he's doing it, Arez just drills him with the double stomp, and then follows that up with a springboard double stomp, and then just a brutal normal double stomp. Great near fall sequence, gets a 2 off of that. You know, this man is not going to be outdone by the cool, crazy dives on the stage, and he hits an air hoovy. So if you're unfamiliar with that, think like Jeff Hardy doing Whisper in the Wind, or not Whisper in the Wind, Poetry in Motion off Matt Hardy's back, like just kind of like diving and hurling his whole body at the guy. Well, Juventud Guerrera used to do this over the top rope to the floor. We called it air hoovy. So Arez hits this onto Vikingo, who is seated on the ramp, and just splats him on it. It is nuts. Both of these guys show off their power in the closing stretch too. Arez goes for a crossbody. Little Vikingo, and this man is small, catches the much taller Arez and turns it into like a Chris Harris catatonic, like a spinning uranagi for 2. Hits the knees in the corner for another 2. Goes up top, goes for the imploding 450 splash. Crazy. Misses that. And then, you know, going back to the story here, the can you top this kind of story that they do early on, Arez takes Vikingo up top, hits his own spinning uranagi, basically just showing that I can do this move too, but I'm going to do it from the top. And normally Arez's finish is he hits this kind of like spinning catatonic into a Northern Lights suplex. So he ends up hitting that off the top, but kind of flips all the way over, turning it into almost like a Spanish fly. So it's kind of like a rock the baby cradle Spanish fly head drop thing. It is crazy. It is nuts. It is a definitive finish. Gives Arez maybe the biggest victory of his career in an incredibly memorable match. They aired this on YouTube. It was in terrible quality when it aired. Chris Hero put it over on Twitter. I watched it, was blown away by this match. Had to wait quite some time. But if you want to check it out, is it now available in crystal clear HD on the High Spots Wrestling Network? I definitely recommend you check it out. It is, in my opinion, the best kind of, you know, clean Lucha Libre match of 2021. Just great mat work and dives. Not the best Lucha match of 2021 though, but we'll talk about that another time. Both of these guys are incredible. 2 of my favorite wrestlers to watch. Arez is making a claim for being one of my, you know, favorite wrestlers of the modern era, just with how he constantly blows my mind. The dude is incredible. Check this match out. Subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you never miss a video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50. And please join me again next time as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50.